Hey, so welcome back to Mind Matters podcast.
You forgot them, didn't you?
I did forget that. It's been a while. It's been a while.
I don't know about you, but my mind's blown with the
It has been blown. But we've come back together today because we've got Jen here.
Hello.
We've got a guy called Chooks here. He's an absolute legend in one of our friends here.
Chukumeka is my full Monty name.
Chukumeka.
Mika.
Chukumeka.
Like the singer.
What singer?
Mika.
Oh, Mika. Everybody's got love today.
And then we've got M.
Hi, everyone.
So, welcome back, everyone. So today...
we're filming this as well?
Sorry?
We're on.
Yeah, so you're on film.
We're
So that
live.
little thing there, that knob that I was polishing.
Stop,
That you
pucker.
Oh, that knob.
Yeah, that little knob I was polishing. That was our little camera. So,
Excellent.
so today we've come together to talk about suicide. And Chooks, you're a bit of an expert in this, and
Listen, we've all got lived experience.
I think that's the best
John.
bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with that, should we? Where should we start with this? I mean, you were telling us about some sad news recently about losing a couple of people locally, and you know, you're a big advocate, aren't you, of dealing with this and telling people and helping people to think through it and things like that. I mean, where do you go with this sort of stuff? Because you really kindly went the other day to this hall and you spoke to some families and things. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we lose about 7,000 people to suicide in the United Kingdom every year. And bear in mind what I'm going to say now is that behind every statistic I'm throwing out are real people, and it saddens me at one level that 7,000 people, of which 3/4 of them are men,
That's heartbreaking.
That's crazy.
take their lives. So every 90 minutes in this country, someone's taken their life by suicide.
Is that the ticket? 90 minutes?
And every 40 minutes in the world, someone's taken their life by suicide. So I'm going to go out large with the world and then come back local. So about 1 million people take their lives to suicide in the world. But that's what I call active suicide, and you may sort of laugh at me at one level, but at the same time, I call a lot of our suicidal behaviours are passive suicide. So drinking too much, doing things to our bodies that we know is not necessarily right. So because we should be living a lot longer. So my premise to start is that life is sacred, and I want to try and preserve life. But for that, it means we have to enjoy life rather than suffering. But in Buddhism, which is what I try to think about, it talks about life is suffering, then you die. So you've got to make the best of it whilst you're alive. And you do that through the mind. So people having suicidal thoughts, they say at any one time in the United Kingdom, up to 3 million people are walking around with suicidal thoughts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's no way our mental health services, our hospitals can't necessarily help. We lose roughly 3 GPs a week to suicide, and that's meant to be the gateway into suicide prevention.
I mean, that's a figure I did not know.
That's crazy.
Three GPs who are there to sort of support us. That's an incredible...
So from that premise, it's that who cares for the carers? Literally, is the mantra. Because everyone's got a story as to why they don't want to be here, unfortunately. So how do we help prevent people having what I call premature death? I was in the ambulance service for 4 years, so I saw a lot of, unfortunately, in that reality. People jumping in front of trains, people driving their cars into trees. And because suicide was an illegal act in this country till 1961, it means that in many families we might have had people who died by suicide. But no one's talking about that because it was such a taboo in those days. Now, when someone in your family or close to you have died by suicide, again, research, and please, it's not exact science, but you're 65% more at risk to taking your life by suicide as well. That's part of the reason why we need to talk about it. But for me, I'm into preventive health, good health for prevention. And what I realized that in lots of the work we do, we don't put enough money into prevention. We wait till people get ill, then we put loads of money into them, just like we don't put money into social care. Yeah, there is nothing separate. And because suicide is such a personal thing, we have to almost become experts, as what, for want of a better word, in our life experience. Yeah. So our life experience that you bring to the table, even now before getting on this, we were talking, weren't we, about everyone's experience. There's only 4 of us here. That's 100% people who've had a ripple effect. And if it's not personal to us in that degree, you could think of Robin Williams, you could think of that lady from Love Island, you could think of many famous people who've died by suicide. So for me, the only way we can really do this, just like with all mental health, is things like we're doing now. It's in the community. And stop expecting these experts who are just as struggling as we are to sort it out. Because what I've noticed that recently, and especially the last couple of weeks, there have been quite a few people feeling suicidal. And I've been supporting people who are helping people. But the reasons that each person is feeling suicidal are so unique to them. Some of them are more universal, like abuse. And that people are really suffering in that. And if we don't collectively understand that, or even be able to say we're sorry on their behalf, where do they go? You know, there's people in crisis, they go to NE, they get released. So there is nothing. This is us. We are the people.
But I think we spoke about that the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Touched it. You know, the places for people to go who are feeling like that just aren't right, are they? So
No, they're not right.
if you're desperate, you shouldn't have to go to a police station or A&E.
Right. Well, people get detained, don't they?
Yeah.
They're detained.
So you're locked in a cell?
Yeah, locked in a cell for feeling like that. I think we need to take it back to what you said quite early on in what you were saying, Chicks. You know, that we have to, you know, it's like life is a struggle. Life is really bloody hard.
It is.
And people experience struggles in different ways, and people that you might not expect to be struggling probably really are inside. And I think, you know, we're talking about kind of people, the awareness of it. I think we need to actually go, do you know what? It's really shit out there. People are skint. People are in really stressful situations. People are job hunting. People are struggling. They're going to food banks. We were talking about male suicide previously, you know, in the conversation before we started. And you know, one of the reasons that males might, you know, be feeling that way, a lot of the time is down to kind of financial problems and the pride aspect. And you know, the man's got to be the provider and put the bread on the table, and they're not able to. And I think and particularly when going back to the celebrity bit you were saying, it can affect anyone, can't it? So it's not just about material things and money. It's you know, things are really, really bloody hard for people, and I think we need to acknowledge how hard it is. And it's not just as simple as kind of snapping out of it. And you know, some days are harder than others for people. But we need to kind of actually sometimes, if people experience problems and struggles and they're really, really struggling, you don't always want, and I know I don't, if I'm offloading to somebody, I don't want them to fix it all the time. Sometimes I just want them to acknowledge it and go, do you know what, that's really shit, Emma.
And sometimes
I'm really
friends will
like
try,
that.
we were saying this the other day, friends will try to fix it because I'm feeling your emotion. If he's hurt you, I'm going to hurt him too. But going to somebody that doesn't know you, doesn't know this person, they can just sit and listen. How does that make you feel, Emma? It's not about...
I've recently referred myself to TalkWorks locally, so I got my first appointment with them on the 29th, and for me to get to that point where I made that referral, it was massive for me, and people that know me well know how bloody huge that is for me to actually get to a point. I might not be okay, actually.
It's good that you're going to go and talk to
But we were
someone,
talking about it, and actually, when I talked to Jen, I talked to John, and people, my friends, they're emotionally involved, they're invested, they know the people
wanna
that
fix
I'm
it.
talking about, and they want to fix it. And sometimes it's like, just shut up.
Yeah, can't fix it.
Especially
You
John.
can't
John,
fix
just
it.
Yeah, John, shut the hell up, John, and just let me, and just acknowledge the fact that and you do, like, you know, but just acknowledge the fact that what's happening at the moment is crap, and we can't always fix everything. And sometimes people trying to fix stuff makes me more frustrated.
It makes it worse.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? It might, you might not know the answer, but obviously you know quite a few statistics lately. But is it getting bigger? Like, is it higher than it ever was?
We've had the highest rate in a couple
because
of
obviously
years.
life is getting more
It
stressful.
is, but
we're all scared.
interesting
We're all
enough,
struggling.
You know,
The news and
I
all
want
that.
to come back to that because how we deal with this is also a way of how we deal with our mind. That's why I said Buddhism as a practice is really important, and I'll come back to that. So people thought that when COVID happened that suicide rates would go up. In fact, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they only went up because we're always a year and a half behind. As we speak today, we've got the National Suicide Bereavement Conference up in Manchester. As we speak today, my friends are up there, so I'm normally up there, but I wasn't. And so the figures have gone up for the first time in a couple of years. Now, everyone always, the biggest question in suicide prevention work or suicide in general is why. People always look for that why. It's really hard to define what that why is, yeah? And like we said, life is a struggle, but there are so many beautiful, wonderful people and things to help us. We're just not doing it. One of the major things that I'm really interested in is, you got children?
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are they?
8.
7.
Okay.
Nearly 7.
So, as you know, the first 7 years is how children incarnate themselves. So they might believe in God, they might believe in the imaginary friend, everything. We don't really get that in this. We do and we don't. Yeah, it's like go back to bed or whatever. I used to have a bear that used to come into my bedroom every night, real big grizzly bear. If my parents were more Native American, they would have gone, oh, that's your totem animal, that's your protector. Because there's a whole thing around bears and different animals, yeah? But the reason why I'm saying this is, all the research says children need to sleep. So I worked in a university's health and well-being unit for students, and they were coming with anxiety, everything else. They're top performing students, right? 22 years old, everything. I said to them, can you tell me a time in your life that you haven't been anxious? No. So why is that? Because at the age of 4, 5, come on, we've got to get to work, we've got to do this. The anxiety virus is off the scale. Everyone's been inoculated with a bit of anxiety. Time, you've got to get there on time. Researchers said this for years.
It's the rat race, isn't it?
Yeah. Let the children sleep, let their brains grow, let them regenerate. Even us, we should be regenerating, not degenerating. Yeah. But there's such a focus on death, running through lives, everything, that we lose connection to the sense of wonder. You know? And it could be culturally appropriated because of people thinking white privilege, people thinking of this, I'm an immigrant, I'm a refugee. So many different causal factors. So to understand and do suicide prevention, we have to have this broader concept of what affects people, but still keep positive in light of it. So like if you come on one of our suicide prevention courses, you end up laughing like crazy for a subject that's quite hard to deal with.
But that helps to talk about it, doesn't it? If you can engage and laughter brings people together, and it's a connection, it makes people feel comfortable and more
It's a
open.
frequency, isn't it?
Yes.
I think, and actually, I'm really glad that we recognise that children can suffer from anxiety and things nowadays. Actually, I remember when I was younger, if I used to say to my mum at primary school, I'm feeling really stressed, I don't be ridiculous, what have you got to be stressed about? And everything was just dismissed all the time. But actually now,
backbone. Grow up.
I recognise, I look at Amy and I recognise that she has anxiety, and I see that, and actually I think it's really, really important.
Well, my son's autism's driven by anxiety, and I've had real issues this week with him struggling to get into school. He's absolutely loves school. He does struggle with the classroom setting, but they've been really good. He's got really good friendships, but all of a sudden we're dysregulating in the morning. He's really upset. It's been really tough, actually.
You've had a really bad week.
And just to come, I want to acknowledge that anxiety and autism, and to explain. If you look into Aboriginal cultures about autism, very different definition. In Buddhism, we see people who are autistic as being very enlightened because they're really focused, almost like they should not be in the system.
It's like he's so in tune with everything.
They
If I'm
should not
feeling
be
something, he's feeling it.
Oh man, listen. If you got boys, I said this to mothers. They said to me, "How early do you want to do suicide prevention?" I said, "In utero." Yeah, because. And I can say this to you as a son, not that you're you're not my mamas.
No,
but
definitely not true.
You don't know that. Listen, I'm serious. Serious, that's true. And in Buddhism, this is so funny. Let me just go on a little side on this one. They said, in Buddhism, they tell you to treat everyone like they're your mother from a previous life, or they're all related, all cousins.
That's it. We are.
So you don't know, and because we're all one big family. But the problem is, it's like I know that everyone I meet, I've met before, but I can't remember. So your kids, just if I get a chance, hopefully I'll meet them one day. Yeah. It's like I'm meeting old friends in a young body.
But you quite often, though, on the other side, quite often have kids, don't you, who will say, I was there
Yes.
at this time,
Yes.
like hundreds of years ago,
Yeah.
and they can describe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But then when they grow up, they forget all about that.
And society forgets. If you think, and it doesn't mean you want to kill yourself because you don't like life, but what you've got to understand, and this is not a thing I tell people really when I'm trying to do suicide prevention, is that you just come back again and you have to do the same shit again. Yeah. So it's like, don't you feel already sometimes in this life it's like Groundhog Day? We've been through it. I thought I got, but what it is it's not even though it's an individual personal thing, it's a collective thing. So in Africa we have this phrase Ubuntu. In Hawaiian we use Ohana. In Maori it's about the house. It means that if one friend is suffering, you're all suffering, even though you think we're individuals.
We said that the other day. We feel each other's emotions.
Really think,
You know, when we've gone through
literally
rocky
connected
patches.
like that.
It's really strange.
If Jen's having a hard time, I feel physically sick. I
My
can't
mum,
see.
my mum was having a hard time mentally, and I really dipped. And you were on the sofa
lost
all
the
day. Yeah, she was
So when we think about that, that's how we have to be not uncaring, not sympathetic, but empathetic, and also to rise above it. Because if one person's down, we can pull the whole down. The Titanic can go down.
Well, we go down together at first,
we
don't
do.
we? And then we sort of struggle our way back up together.
John on the third
Cuddles on the sofa, don't we? And we have a few cuddles. Yeah, we did have a cuddle.
So what I was going to say, because I didn't quite finish that, was I went off track again. It was like, they said, how early are you going to do suicide prevention? I said, in utero, because, as you may or may not know, the first thing that happens in an embryo is they hear things. They hear things. So anytime I see pregnant mothers, I go and talk to the belly. And then what I love
that
is
would
when
have really annoyed me if you did that when I was pregnant.
Yeah, but listen, but tell you what's wonderful about it is when the baby comes out, they recognise you by your voice.
Yes, of course.
So one question I always ask mothers, not as a blame, is how was your pregnancy? Did you enjoy your pregnancy?
Yeah.
Were you being abused during your pregnancy? All these horrible
Were you
things.
having rows
Yes.
with your partner and shouting?
So, and then with boys, in particular boys, it creates a smaller brain, not the same for women, which then causes a lot of suffering. Yeah. So, us trying to put kids into school who are neurodiverse and all these different things, rather than us coming to you and saying, right, how is your son?
That's
What's he
so
like in the
topical
morning?
for you, Jen,
Yes.
at the moment.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
Jen
yeah.
has been living that this week with her boy. Absolutely.
And I have been writing about this week because we're on the verge. The system's going to break down, but we're here to fix things as a group. Now, I don't understand why, unfortunately, I'm going to say this to you, and then not to panic you, Mrs. Mandarin, it's just to give you awareness. Autistic young people are off the scale when it comes to learning difficulties taking their lives. Yeah, because we're not talking about it properly. We're not giving you the support that's needed. And I'm not saying support, send money. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what is it in your intuition. What's his name, please?
Che, C-H-E.
C-H-E. What's that mean?
Well, we discovered Che Guevara and we thought it was quite a powerful
So
name.
what does it mean?
I actually don't know.
Can you do it whilst get your phone out?
Look it up.
Look at Che. Really important, because in many other cultures, your name has a vibration that we need to embody in that person.
So the reason someone's actually pointed out to me today, who's got two very autistic children. One's very similar to my son, and they're quite opposite children. And she said, all year last year, you were screaming to the school that you were struggling to get your son dressed in school because he has problem sensory issues. He's so sensitive, and he's only got to be slightly unwell.
We're just going to go to a commercial break to find out what Che means.
It originates, it's a Spanish name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it means God will increase who pardons all raised.
Oh.
So, yeah.
You see?
And
So when you take that name, because this is a spiritual world that we're living in a material body, and there's a bit of spiritual shit going down at present. Yeah. And as we all know, it's going down. It should be going up, but it's going down. Yeah.
Oh, was I meant to? Well.
What?
no. I just watched
But
the
Well, I thought I was
so-
going to keep pressing buttons and I started panicking.
We're going off on the side there, but this is really important because the government are playing silly buggers with autism and SEND, and they've got themselves
They're
in a
being
pickle.
suppressed. They need to be.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say
tuning
is we've
stuff
made it all about money, and now we're running out of money to do it that way. And so rather, for me, intuitively, and you might shout me down on this because I want mothers to be involved. I've just got a friend in a local school in the place I live who's getting all the parents together with send children. They're coming together and we're trying to think about alternative provision within the school. When I say within the school, it's great having that, but we want parents involved, we want the community involved, we want specialist people involved, and we want the money to follow the school rather than just the child. Yeah. So suddenly, because when you get it or you don't get it, you feel bad. I've got people 125 grand, 55 grand. That's not helpful money-wise, but the support when you don't feel isolated. We all live in an island, and we come from this I culture. Whereas we is well-being, I is illness. Yeah. So wellness is we have to change our minds and the way we do things, which for some people is going to be hard because for those of us like me who've been to boarding school, we're in charge, we know what's going on, but we're heartbroken inside. So we can't even speak.
So how do we go about changing our mindsets then? Because like I said, we've all kind of got our own traumas, things that we've lived through, our experiences. We've all got the day-to-day slog of life. I go to work, I do a really long day, I don't stop whilst I'm at work, I don't get a chance for a lunch break. I then go and pick my kid up from the childminders. I go home, I have to walk the dogs, I have to do her tea, I have to do a
Why do you
bedtime
do all
routine.
those things?
Because I have to. It's just me.
No, why do you have to do those?
Well, I have to go to work and I have to raise my child.
Of course you do. But what I'm not negating that. But that's the point. So we've all become indentured servants.
Yeah.
I don't need you to become ill for you to make a choice. But that's what normally happens with life.
I'm not saying I'm ill. I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that is unsustainable. You will become ill.
Yeah.
But I have to. But I see what you're saying. I have to raise my child.
Yeah.
Though.
I understand that. So that's what I'm trying to say. At present, you're being superwoman. Yeah.
But it will end one day.
It will end because.
But that's what everyone's doing. That's
it's
what
not
we've
just
all
me.
got to do.
It's not just me.
No, I know that, but that's the narrative we have to start to change.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to break down before we start it, but we have to believe in our hearts because we know in our hearts that this is not right.
Yeah.
No, I know you're absolutely right.
It's too busy. Everything's too much. It's a rat race, isn't it?
Yeah, and in reality, it's not comparing. There's no hierarchy in suffering, but yet we do that. My pain is greater than your pain.
Well, they say that, don't they? Your own problem is your worst. It's the worst problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're
And
feeling
that's
that.
the one you're experiencing.
You physically feel, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the reality to try and help each of us. And we can only do it through, and we talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is not meant to be done for you just to carry on doing the same shit that you've always been doing. Excuse my French.
Oh, it's okay.
You can say bollocks.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, because that's what it's been used. It's been commodified to go, come on, just carry on. I'm not asking us to do that. I'm asking us to change how we are thinking.
Do you know what I've noticed though with a lot of people at the minute? Us trying to live off grid, aren't they? There are a lot of people. There's a lot of campus and stuff, and people have realised actually we don't need all this crap. We just need to be outside, live one with nature. It's peaceful. There's too much noise. Isn't
Whether
there?
you believe in God or not, but God's got a bad rap in this country, especially because it's been utilised for abusing people. Yeah. So Jesus has got a bad rap. Everyone's got a bad rap in that because it has been perverted. Yeah. But on the other side is getting a lot of airwaves and they're doing a lot of shit and everyone thinks that's normal. Does that make sense to what I'm just saying? So in that, the whole money thing, the whole everything is causing so much suffering, because it's the materialisation of life.
It's the slavery of it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's compounded by social media, isn't it? Constantly.
But anything, again, that's the other thing about Buddhism in terms of a science, you take what's shit and you turn it into gold. You take a piece of coal and you turn it into a diamond. But how much force in a piece of coal to make it a diamond? But again, who was the first person to go, oh, that's worth this?
Yeah.
There's so much. So again, in this country, our karma, good karma, bad karma, is that we have possessed so many countries and we have exported and owned. If we don't own something in this country, we feel less than.
We're very materialistic.
Yeah. So rather than caretaking your mind, caretaking your body, caretaking your child, caretaking your friends, we either own and we try and fix it and But that's a spell. So we're still in our own spell, yeah? And we still have a king sitting on our heads.
Yeah, it's all control, isn't it?
So the off-grid, even the off-grid technology and everything which we could have, we have to pay rent to Charles for the whole, coastline.
Yeah.
Where I live, 4,000 acres belongs to the Duke of Somerset.
Well, wherever you go, you've got to pay to stay, haven't you? Yeah.
So once we start to have the language of caretakership of everything, we start to transform how we, because when COVID, somehow we managed to pay everyone to stay at home.
Yeah.
We're paying for it now, though, aren't we?
No, but we're paying for it in the illusion of we need to pay for it. Yeah. People in Jamaica, where I'm partly from, are still paying money because of slavery. Right? They're paying money to the slave master, which is England, because of the whole. They had compensation. Boom. The whole of Exeter is built on slave money. I could take you to the library and show you how much the slaves were worth. Now, it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. But because if you get reincarnation, we've been everything. So none of us can go, not in my name. It's like we're all part of it, but we're also going to be part of the change because there's more goodness than there is. But if we don't hear that, all we hear is how bad it is.
So what are some really healthy habits to try and adopt then, to try and help yourself? I mean, we've spoken a lot about pressure and why you have to work, you're a mum, you do walk dogs and you have no time. What's some really healthy habits that we can try and
what
influence?
could you suggest to her or to anyone to slow down? Obviously we've got to go to work, we've got to pay our bills, our child needs
because you
feeding.
love diving in a lake, don't you?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love nothing more. I'll go and chop myself in the lake on Dartmoor.
I'm healing, and I'll tell you part of the reason why this is so important to me, because I've had 2.5 years out of work with a heart condition. So I'm going to do a bit of...
Well, we're going to have a flat.
You're not doing your trousers then.
Now that's quite a scar, man.
The scar. Now that scar in the past would have been a nice battle scar. It would have been, this one was a life-saving scar. So I have metal heart valves, so I tick, and so I've had to slow up, It doesn't make it any easier because with even John last week, I'm talking about what I'm going to do. But I don't want people to become ill to slow up, because when you're ill, what would happen if you were ill?
Right, yeah, you're absolutely right. If I was ill, that would have a bigger impact on.
So what would happen? Everybody would have to step up, wouldn't they, and help, right? So there's also and if there's not, you then have to trust in what you're given. So there's a problem as well with us all. We have pride. Well, I'm British. I'm number one. It's not something that you may know, because again, we have an energy of being very strong. Like you might hear people on the news going, "Oh, that's why we're Great Britain." But in that greatness is our weakness. Does that make sense? Because just having the three of you here take me out of the picture, that's the support in itself. The friendliness, the it's almost like he's your brother, he's limit, You could have been his mother.
It's our safe space.
It's safe space.
It's like family without being family.
But we really can. We talk about so many.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah. So that's what
get
keeps
a
it
bit
going.
silly.
I'm interested. I would really love, and I'm not necking TalkWorks, what they're going to talk to you about, because this is TalkWorks. But if you don't do TalkWorks in a way that's uplifting, it's going to take you down.
I think over the last year, we've all found some benefits from doing this podcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been really cathartic and it has been therapeutic.
And then my experience with TalkWorks and talking about it, I think there was somebody else that we've spoken to in the past that's...
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, because I'm really, really grateful, and I love my friends dearly, and I know that they're there. And last night only, I was texting John last night, and I'm a bit of a hole, and I feel sorry for myself. And then he messaged me today, and he was like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I've stopped feeling sorry for myself now. So, but actually, I've got that support there. But people, I know that my friends care about me so much and love me so much that they can't help but have feelings about how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And sometimes, like I say, that doesn't help. So I think...
I always say the wrong thing. I always end up comparing it to one of my experiences, which is a typical ADHD thing.
No. I'm not going to let you hide behind the ADHD or any of us. We can all do this, right? What I'm going to say to us all is the hardest job on this planet, more than being a parent, more than anything else, is loving yourself.
Oh, God, yeah.
Without that, everything else is bollocks. We're talking about it, we're thinking, but unless you really get that, and that's the hardest job, because for some of us, we haven't been given the understanding how to do that.
The skills.
Yeah, the skills. And when you think about, if you ever hear anyone say good old days, I don't know which planet they're living on, right? So what our parents, what our grandparents had to go through, scarcity, rations, war. You know, we did 2 years of COVID and everyone's working out like it's the end of the world.
And when you say that, I mean, that's right. I mean, I quite often reflect back to the 80s because I was like really young then and think, oh, it's brilliant because I was a kid. But I lost my dad, like I said to you, quite recently. And I often think back to the 80s and my dad was out of work for 4 or 5 years. I remember having a full breakdown and just sitting in the corner staring in the corner of the room. And I was like 5, just watching him thinking, what are you doing, Dad? You know, and you do sort of reflect back to that. And like you say, in one half you're going, great old days. In another half, when you really think about it, it was hard.
It was never great.
So, I remember coming out of our house and seeing glue sniffers with bags and all burnt around their lips in the 80s.
And
Oh my goodness, where did you live?
Well, that's where I grew up.
Now you walk through Torquay and everyone's off their face and spice,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah.
So just
So,
one thing replaces
Are
another.
you all Devon dumplings?
No, well, Suffolk
Devon,
originally.
Where?
Suffolk.
Which part?
Glamsford, near Bury St Edmunds.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was born in Torbay.
Okay. Reading,
so-
wasn't it?
So I'm from up that way, from
Newbury,
Hastings.
Hastings.
Hastings, really, yeah.
So I was at boarding school in Horsham. I'm a Hackney boy, but I went to boarding school and I was sent to Felixstowe to
Okay.
live. So I grew up in Felixstowe. Ipswich, but I've lived in Jamaica. I've lived in Belize. I've lived in Nigeria. I was in the Civil War when I was a kid. How old am I?
Oh, I hate
Come
those
on.
questions.
That doesn't matter.
I like it when
You
I-
can't
I
get
like
it
it
wrong.
when
I'm
I-
gonna have a convenient sneeze.
Sneeze.
Oh no, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Answer the
It's gone.
question.
Fast, okay.
This is
John.
she's getting out of there.
Actually, did
Most pathetic sneeze I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I
Guess.
don't.
Doesn't matter. There's no harm.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm asking you.
Doesn't matter. You can't insult me. Come on. What age?
55.
Okay.
49.
Okay. How old's he?
You
How's he?
sweet
Yes.
talker.
Yeah. How's he?
57.
85.
So I'm going to be 65 next
Oh,
month.
go on.
wow.
Doing very well then.
Yeah.
See, I knew that, so I was
John.
keeping.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is we should be regenerating. So I look younger now than I did, you know, when I was 35 even. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. So my first career was in hotel and catering from the age of 16 till 33, 35. And so I worked like
That's a hard old slog, isn't it?
yeah, really hard, yeah. So that my first career was paid to get people drunk. Second career, I went off and became a monk, massage therapist, esoteric studies, everything else. So I had to go through that real change, and it's really painful. And so I ended up.
What's painful about it? I'm really intrigued because
yeah.
I'm intrigued. In what way is it painful? Because I've never known anybody who's been a monk.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued.
So, you know, like you just said, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do that. And when you realise that is such an illusion, but yet so many people are caught in it. So in Buddhism, we call that samsara, or in English, it's hell. We were in a form of hell.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
It's
literally.
slave labour, yeah.
Slave labour on many different levels, and a belief system that we collectively buy into, even to the point that we vote for certain people who are doing us harm, and we don't realise that we've got the power to change that, but we can only change it through radical bullshit.
We're all sucked in, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're sucked in, and we're
And
playing the game, as I say.
and oh shit, I didn't bring any posters, but we're showing a film in Totnes on the 16th called Boarding on Insanity, which is all about the boarding school system. And the reason why we're showing that is because we need to understand that our leaders don't really stand an opportunity to be empathetic, but yet they can whip up popular belief systems, like Mr. F at present, who is public school educated, but yet the way he speaks just gets into people. Now, my mum came here in the 50s, where she could hold her hand up and couldn't even see her hand with the soot and fumes in London. And she had a letter saying, as a brown woman, that they wouldn't employ her because the patients didn't like it. This was 1956. My father, my real name is Oho Chuku.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, Chuku.
That's it. So but he was Maxwell Oho Chuku, so he changed his name to Maxwell. Yeah, and he got work. He was a High Court judge. And then my name, I was christened Alan after my mum's favourite brother. And so my name through boarding school is Alan Maxwell. No one would know I'm black. So it took me till I was 35 to take the name Chukumeka. The reason why I'm giving you this little story is because any one thing that's happened in my itty-bitty life could have been things that wanted to make me kill myself, and which they did. When I was 19, I tried to kill myself in quite a few ways. I'm a bit like the guy in Groundhog Day. You know, he's just like trying to kill himself all the time. And next day, yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
And what that film is about is actually showing you about reincarnation. That the only way out of it was to love. You know, and it was like every day he was such an arsehole, but he had to improve and help people because he knew next what's going to happen. And that's a bit like that. You know, we're all like that. We've all got those intuitions. We've all got that kindness. We have been molded in certain ways by society. So we socially disable people, we culturally disable people, we put people in classes. I'm an ethnic minority, I'm born in this country, I've had more privilege than most white people, but yet I still feel like a guest in my own country. Yeah, so I have to be a child of the world rather than just England.
So what did you have to change when you went in?
Okay, that my attitude towards that. I'm a black man, I'm a black monk, I'm a black, you know. And that's a spell in itself. My father told me I have to work harder than the white man to do anything. So there's a whole group of people who say there's white privilege. So I'm here with 3 white people. Like, what you got to complain about? You don't know what it's like. That type of energy.
Yeah.
So then you get prejudice between races because that's what you need to do. So I grew up with no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. That was the signs, you know. So all the Irish used to get on with the black, but then as time went on, all the Jews as well. So we were all together in the suffering. But then once money got in the way and it started to get a bit worse. Yeah, and the outcome for black boys, especially from Caribbean, is the lowest. African ones saw, and I'm caught in the middle. Yeah, and my parents could say, my mum could say she's Jamaican, my father could say he's Nigerian, even though they're British Commonwealth people. Yeah. To say there was no black British when I was growing up. We're talking the 70s, you know. So I would be told I couldn't have jobs because I was black up until 86, 87.
But it's life.
It's crazy how it's changed, isn't it? And I think the thing is about it, Chooks. I mean that's a hell of a story, isn't it? Where you've had to really come to terms and then change how you feel. But I think black, white, or indifferent, I think we all have moments where we have defining moments in life where we have to almost change ourselves, and it's really hard to come to terms with, isn't it? Certainly, I felt like that from growing up in the background. You say, well, where were you brought up? So I was brought up in a real dragged up area. And when I look at some of my family, you know, they're lovely people. They're very different to me, and there was a moment where I had to change.
You make that decision, and you have to make that decision, don't you? Because I could, and I do still do it. Sometimes, being completely honest, I fall into that bloody self-pity mode, and woe is me, and I start to self-medicate, and I completely lose the plot, and fall apart, and I have to then really, for God's sake, and it's so easy to kind of look back and well, I'm doing this because this happened and that happened, and I've had such a terrible time, but you have to pull yourself away from that because it's so easy to get sucked into that hole.
Yeah. And for me, you have to make fundamental choices.
Yeah,
for me to
absolutely.
change to become who I am today, I had to make a fundamental choice to leave lots of my friends behind because that's not what I wanted to be like, and it's a really hard thing to do, and I found it really difficult. I mean, it's different to what you experienced.
It's the same,
but it's the same. It's the same. Challenge.
There's a universal way that we have to pull ourselves out of the shit and grow our lotus. 100%. We are lotus beings. Yeah, we are angels having a material existence. Some are fallen angels, but mostly people are good angels, yeah? But we don't come from animals. Where did that bullshit come from, yeah? America wasn't discovered in 1492. It's always been there. That's, you know what I mean? All these things we're going to have to rewrite history. Yeah? And understand that we're meant to be on a sacred planet, not the hellhole that's been created now. There is meant to be free technology. There is meant to be free energy. We've got all the inventions, but we have to have loving kindness doing it, and that's going to come through the avatar. And it's not a religion; it's a science.
But the whole world evolves around money, doesn't it? The whole country.
No. That's the illusion.
But that's what I mean.
Yes,
That's the, like, you know, we've got to pay our rent, but you know, who, and then they own the house. Who
but who owns the
it's
house?
ridiculous.
Even if
this
you
should
don't
be
have a
our
mortgage,
world, shouldn't it? Our planet.
It is ultimately.
We should be building houses for each other.
So
do you know
when
what I
I
mean?
was
Work for work.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
should be like a
but
community.
listen, why did you say that?
Why did I say what?
Yeah, what you just said.
You have to explain it. She's gone.
I
She's
don't,
gone.
No,
I don't want you to build my house.
No.
don't want to build your house either,
But
but-
seriously, why did you say what you said?
Because I don't understand who at one point decided, right, I'm going to open a bank, you're going to put your money in my bank, and do you know what I mean? I can't.
No, what I was trying to get at, what I was trying to give you, what I was trying to give you.
Together as a community.
Yeah, as a compliment.
Not charging each other for
As a
everything.
compliment. That's already in your heart. You see what I'm trying to tell you?
Oh,
It's there. It's no one's told you that. It's
I
already
see what's
part,
going on. You know, we're all controlled by it, and
But what I'm trying to say is, we're in the change.
But that's why we're in this rat race, isn't it?
But this
We're
is the
earning
end
money
of
from
the
people.
days, whether you believe it or not. This is revelation. We wouldn't be doing this. Look at this.
Oh,
This never happened.
there's change coming.
So
I
much
feel it.
change. So we have to think. In our own personal lives, how we sort out our own shit enables us to truly help other people. And I'm going to challenge you, because when people want to help you, why are you playing cricket with them?
I've never played cricket in my life.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what cricket does? Someone gives a nice ball, nice and easy, and you go, I don't want that help. Yeah? And I've been in too many relationships to know what that feels like. I've been in too many.
help in the kitchen.
So, you've known her for 39 minutes.
Because it's universal in the shitty way. It breaks my heart. I can't rescue you, but it breaks my heart when I hear these stories from women and from men, because it's just so bleak. It's almost like I look at you and I don't see whatever age you are. It's like I see little Emma, and it's like, how would I treat little Emma?
As old as you.
How would I treat little Emma? Yeah. How would I treat little Jen? How would you treat little? I haven't got my picture. I've shown it to you. A picture of me when I was 3 years old. That's who I really am.
I think again it comes down to that I'm the independent mum. I've got to do this. I've got to do that, and it's strong. And as soon as she,
I'm proud of that. I'm
Yeah,
proud
but
of that.
listen, okay.
sometimes
Oh, I've got them off now.
she's battering.
Why?
me.
No, this is really important. No, seriously,
I am.
this is really important, because what you have said, I'm going to challenge you that part of that is the cause of men killing themselves.
Okay.
Because we're not in right relationship with the men and women. Of course you can be proud, but wouldn't we all rather be in a loving partnership rather than what has happened to us all? Because it is so hard to do it on your own.
But what I meant in the sense is that the reason she's batting people away is because you're so
She's
used
not
to
batting
taking.
people.
Oh, no. Sometimes. It's like,
Sometimes, like you said,
I'm
you
only,
don't want
I'm only
to
reflecting
talk
back to you
friends.
what you said
No,
to me.
I
Yeah?
don't. You know,
You don't.
so let me read this. Fuck off, John. Night.
Okay, nice.
Well, I went into the kitchen to her one day. She was cooking me roast dinner, and I said, "Let me help you lay the table." Because what can I do to help? She went, "I don't like help."
Yeah, exactly. And what job do you do? I'm meant to be a carer for helping other people now.
I'm not meant to be, I am.
Yeah, well, exactly, you see. But the reason why I'm saying that as well, this is when he asked me, what did I have to do to change? That pride. What's the first deadly sin? What is it? Pride. Pride.
Oh, okay.
Pride comes before a fall. Yeah, and you don't have to go to the fall. But no one can tell you that. You're going to have to experience it. And it breaks my heart, personally, when I try to do that. And I can't do that. I can't rescue. What I have to do, when Mum was dying, she said, help everybody, sort everyone out. And I was like, The only thing I learned was if I could let go and trust everyone. Because again, in our caring roles, in all our roles, we start to think that we make them the victim. Does that make sense? Even though they do need our help and everything, we've tied up this whole thing. Now, imagine a world where people start to get better from all these things that we think are incurable, because that's how miracles take place. And they're not about this drug that came out yesterday, even though that's partly it. They're going to try and charge £200 million to, help with the Huntington thing. But there's lots of inventions to stop people from getting Huntington's. So there's a lot that we can do, but it does take collective consciousness and collective goodwill, and not going to war.
But I also think, touching on the pride bit, I was reflecting on that the whole time you're talking, and I think it's really relevant because when you're saying about all the things you were just saying then, your pride also stops you, doesn't it?
Yes.
Allowing that to happen to yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, in climbing, they call it summit fever.
Right, okay.
You know, when you see all these people up at Everest that are dying, they're 100 metres from the top.
Yeah.
But at that altitude, that had taken 5 hours.
Yes.
But they're like, I'm so close. My pride won't let me stop. So
Yeah.
I'd rather push myself to die
Yeah.
because they're too proud. And I think it's
Does
really...
that actually happen?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's called summit fever. They're up at 8,000 metres. It doesn't matter if it's 8,000 or 6,000, wherever it is.
Where are you climbing soon?
He's doing something.
Island Peak, which is overlooks
far is it
Everest, and that's 6,300, and Everest is 8,800.
Right, okay.
But even at 6,000 metres, you cannot breathe.
Yeah.
Is that where you got that?
That's why I've
mask
got
thing?
this machine. So at the moment, I'm working at about 5,000 metres every day for at least an hour.
Okay.
But I think you get to that stage. I remember it, even when I was at Kilimanjaro, I was about 100 metres from the top of this stellar point. And I tell you what, I've been walking for 7 days. I was tired. The sun had come up. I was exhausted. And I thought the snow was there. It's freezing. And I thought, I'm so close. And you know what? I can hardly walk. And it took me 3 or 4 hours just to finish the
That
climb.
last bit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, do you know what? If I was in altitude where I couldn't breathe, I probably wouldn't have got back down again.
No.
And there was a moment coming back down where I literally thought to myself, just stop.
Yeah.
And it's in my head going, but hiders at home, you've got to keep moving.
Bloody hell,
You
yeah.
have to keep moving. You will die here. And people do die on
Yeah,
Kilimanjaro.
yeah.
So I think, and that's pride, isn't it? I was so like, I've told everyone I'm doing it. I've trained so
Yeah.
hard. I've spent all this
And if you're
money.
doing it for charity.
I want to do it for myself. But tell you what, it's a battle with yourself, and sometimes you have to know when to walk away and stop. And I think that reflects back to part of the earlier conversation, doesn't it? You know, where we're all so busy, we have to also give ourselves permission to go, I'm just going to stop. Do you know what? I know I've got to
And
pay
when
bills.
you do sit down, you feel guilty because you think, I should be doing this, I should be doing
I
that. But
don't.
actually,
It
sometimes
will drive you
just,
crazy.
Yeah, it does.
So that's what I'm saying. You asked me how I
Mentally
had to
or
change. It's
physically.
like, I'm a 100-meter runner. I played rugby for 22 years. I've been in celebrity parties. I've done royal parties. I've been busy trying to find who I am.
But actually,
it
all
was-
you need to do is stop
Yeah, and let go.
and study yourself.
And also to really enjoy it. I have never been as happy as I have been when I became ill.
And that's ridiculous, isn't
Yeah.
it?
But they do say that,
Yeah,
though, don't
and
they?
then to
Unfortunately, in this
really
day and age, it
appreciate
does take
life.
something bad to happen for you to appreciate the
Yeah.
good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
But
that
you know
is
what?
sad.
Even with like retirement, when my dad retired, about a month later, I said, "You missing work?" He said, "John, I don't know how I had time to work
Yeah.
because I'm too busy now. I'm
Yes.
walking the
Oh,
dogs.
really?
Yes.
I've got my
You're living
lathe.
life.
I'm walking down the canal.
That's
I'm-
really nice because
Yes.
I have heard the opposite as well.
Yeah.
I'm bored, I've got nothing to do.
I-
But then again, that would probably be somebody that has no family
my dad
or
will fall
friends.
apart when he retires. He needs to work, despite what
Needs
anyone
that
might think.
routine and-
It's really important to him.
But
It's
does he
part of his
need to
identity.
work or does he need to work to earn money? There's two
Both.
different things.
Both, yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah. There's
he needs
nothing
to
wrong
work.
with we're here to be in service.
But you say he needs to work, or does he need something to do?
Yeah.
And that's the,
No,
that-
he needs
needs
to
the
work.
money,
he needs
yeah,
to
he
feel.
needs
He
to
needs
get
to.
by.
No. He needs that sense of purpose. He doesn't have anything else.
but that's
really.
what I mean, though. So
Yeah.
He
but
would-
if-
But
he
for
needs
him,
that
that is his
routine,
sense of
doesn't
purpose. He doesn't. Honestly, he doesn't have anything else. So that for him,
I'm not
that
necessarily
is his
just
focus.
referring
Goes to work,
to
he
your-
socialises,
that
he's
is-
got routine.
That is his focus. That's his motivation. And outside of that,
He can do what he wants, type
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
he didn't
I
have
mean,
that.
again, moving away slightly from the dad. I mean, lots of people say, you know, I need that structure, need that thing. But when you stop work, and that's what my dad does, I thought he was going to be really bored. He found
really
he found a
enjoyed it.
hobby and a
Yeah.
focus that was
That's
different
lovely.
that he really enjoyed, and that's what his focus was. In fact, my mum would call herself the woodworking widow because
Yes.
I've got
Isn't
about
it?
500 bowls around my house,
Yes.
bloody made of wood.
Yeah.
Everywhere I look at is bloody wooden bowls.
Yeah.
But that's good that he enjoyed it because some people can stop as well and, like I say, have nothing to do, got
Or
no
they
friends
just-
and family,
or they
got
just
no
drop dead.
confidence. Yeah, yeah.
Straight after because
That's
you've been
it, 'cause they've been so
storing up
stressed.
that stress, holding up that busyness, and then the moment you step off the wheel,
That quite all happens to us,
Yeah.
doesn't it? I mean, how
Yeah.
often is it that we go on a holiday and we're ill?
yeah.
Straight away, you're going, God, I'm exhausted. I'm now I've got a sniffles.
You find
got
it even
cold.
with the children.
Yeah.
They're on the go 5 days
Yeah.
a week. They're at school all
Yeah.
day. They're bloody children.
Yeah.
They get, they finish term. They've got 6 weeks off.
Yeah.
Some they're
Just
poorly
collapse.
for a week.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
body just is. You're out of fight and flight, and your body
Yeah.
goes, "Hang on a minute."
Yeah.
But
So for me, and joking aside, it's more how do men and women really collaborate? So there's a movement, unfortunately, and again, it's on. I think it's on the negative aspects. Yeah, women don't need men, but if you look on some of these social media things, there are literally people telling you what men needed for, and it's almost like if you look out in life, all the things that have been built by men for people to say that. But they don't get it. And it doesn't mean that we're greater as men. We are wired slightly differently. But men can be midwives. Men can be the number one carer.
Communication, isn't it? And I think females communicate better with each other, and men communicate, but the men won't talk. And it's very. I think sometimes men and women find
stop that stereotype, because the amount of men now who are finding their voices.
I'm so glad they are.
Yeah, but they're also separating from the women and then calling them all different names, and the women are doing it to men. That ain't helpful.
No, that needs to stop.
Everyone's pained. Everyone is. I lost my ex-wife 3 years ago. She died. Yeah, we were divorced, but it still broke my heart. Yeah, having to look after a 16-year-old daughter who I knew would always come towards me, but I didn't want it to come through death. So we are very psychic. Yeah, but we've got to learn how to be psychic with not knowing. So the beauty about suicide prevention is you don't know. So it gives you, whereas in every other thing, you're meant to be the expert. I know why you've got this going. No, you don't. The only way you can do really good suicide prevention work is to go, I don't know. I'm going to listen, and the person will talk their way out of it if they can.
And everyone's story is a different story.
Yes, so unique, so beautiful. Everyone's got a book inside of them. It's just some of us won't write them, but it's like, so how can you support people? Because some of these things are really big. And for me, it does cause a pain in my heart now, because I'm getting back the sensitivity I had when I was a child, right? I lost that sensitivity to protect myself, but it did not protect me. You know, I can cry just like that. Watch Black Beauty shut. Bambi never really died. Bambi never really died, but you heard the gun, didn't you? And everyone thinks he died, so your mind goes off on one. So there's so much. And so when you start to see life and how we're programmed and everything else, that can really mess with your head.
But I think as a person trying to support someone, you can't feel bad about it. One of the things that you said to me the other day when we were talking about one thing or another, and it's something that has really resonated with me since then, is about being too close to that person. You know, and it's really hard to support somebody if you're too close, isn't it?
That's what we were saying. You know, you feel the emotion with them as well.
And people don't always want to talk to you because you're so close. You know, they hold so much back, and it's not because they don't trust you, they don't love you.
It's a vulnerability thing as well.
The vulnerability, and sometimes
you don't not judged, but you don't want that person that you're close to think badly of you as well. If you're holding in some deep dark secrets, or
can I just cut in there again a bit, because it's really interesting you should say that. And this is the other part. When you start to know how this science of being human is, you don't have a thing as a private thought. You think you do.
That's dangerous.
Yes. Because you know why I'm going to say that? Imagine, can I say this honestly? Because even like tonight, we're all sitting in here, we're messing with all our different energies. There are going to be things I say to you and vice versa that are going to impact my physical body, your physical body. That's a law. Yeah. So what I mean by that, you can go into a room feeling one way, and next minute you're picking up on different things, and you come out. And if you aren't sure who you are by your own self-love, you're gonna. I don't get out much. I literally forgot that I was meant to be coming here today.
I texted him, you're right. He went, oh.
I was sitting in Morrison's, like I've got to cook for my student, and because my day gets taken over by different things spontaneously. Yeah. I can't even go, this is Thursday. I thought it was like Wednesday, and then it was Friday. But what I'm trying to say is, so you have to now, especially with what you're both going through in your own ways, what you said to me that I've heard and things you haven't said but I've heard, is knowing that you have to make certain choices that help you as well. Even with your son, that intuition that comes in, how best could you see it? You know, so and school need to know that this is not supporting him.
Well, they are kind of now. But what I was going to say earlier is that someone actually laid it out to me. I went to the gym this afternoon. Wonderful things happen in that place.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were having a good old gossip, and she said, "I think I know where it stems from." You know, all last year we had a different head teacher, and it was very about the statistics and his attendance is going down. He needs to be in. He's falling behind. I don't care if he's got a cough and cold. All the kids don't care if they've got a cough and cold. Get them in. My son obviously has issues with getting dressed. My mum was really unwell and she came to stay in our house and it really affected him. I couldn't get him dressed. I couldn't get him to school. And one of the people said to me, one of the teachers there said, it was on the 9th of January, hailing, wrap him in a blanket and bring him in. And I said, so if I brought him in wrapped in a blanket while it's hailing on the 9th of January, without you saying that, you'd be calling social services on me. That's not the right thing to be doing. So I don't think I'll be doing that, thank you. But they've given me such an anxiety because I would literally call in and say, he's really unwell, he's not going to be in for a couple of days. I'd still ring them the next day, he's still unwell. I'd get emails, I'd get phone calls, I would hammer. And it's, you're going to go to court, you're going to get fined, you're going to get in trouble.
So as a response to that, I'm trying to set up a service whereby we go in and we find out what's really going on. And we want to offer a short, sharp service to double check, right? Because people need support, right?
But now I've got a problem with getting him through the door, and I think it's because they've actually said we think it's PDA, so it's
Okay, so I know someone who's spent years she had a child at 16, and unfortunately the child died, trying to get PDA. She's got it all, and she's going to work with us because she was a child when she had this child, and because what's happening to you is that you're having to fight.
Well, I'm stressed because I'm worried I'm going to get in trouble. I'm worried my son's falling behind.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not.
No, but he did have a lot of time off because he had medical issues. But what I'm trying to say,
that's the way society is, but it's not true.
I know. And now I'm facing this problem. Naturally, my son has picked up on my stress and anxiety, and he now, because it's demand and avoidance, he's being told, you need to go to school, I'm going to go to jail. And all of a sudden he's like, you're telling me to do something and I'm not going to do it now.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And someone laid out to tell
and where
I need a meeting with the new head. I need to tell her why we're feeling like this.
Where's this school?
I don't like to mention
names. Okay, which part? Okay, tell me where you live.
I live in Torquay.
Okay,
the school is local.
So no, it's really important because that's the area that I'm going to be involved in. I'm actually going to the school board to sit with them.
His school doesn't actually come under Torbay, but it is close to Torbay.
Okay, so but it's because this is we are just on the, because they think in the autumn they're going to make decisions around SEND, but they can't do anything because they've made it all about money.
And that's the problem I'm facing right now.
So,
the school and his teacher and his SEND teacher and I know what we want and what's best for him, but we've got to wait for the money.
Yeah, and the money may not come because they're screwing with the money at present.
Right.
Yeah? That's a government level, and it's affecting everyone.
We're just waiting for his EHCP, so he's been accepted, but we just need him assessed now to work out what he needs and what funding
we
he
need
needs.
to get it, But I'm not being horrible about it, but it's like if that doesn't happen, I'll still keep in touch with John. Well, let's try and sort this out because you're one of many parents who are really
and actually
struggling.
my son is. I don't know how to even say it nicely, but he's.
Say what?
Well, he's very sensory, but you wouldn't look at him. There's children out there that are, and parents that are suffering a lot more than I am.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we've seen you struggle so much sometimes.
You have really struggled, Jen.
It's not fair on anyone or you. Sometimes you really are at wit's end, and it's not fair because actually you just need someone to help.
No, you have, and the communication we've had this week, like you've really struggled, Jen, and I've really felt, and you've literally kind of. It is that kind of wit's end. I've lost it. I don't know what to do. I'm on the edge of a cliff here, and it's because of the pressure that school.
But then you've also got other life pressures going on as well, haven't you? You're caring for your mum, and I had problems with my house and maintenance, and you've got all these things going on, and then also at the same time you're making really important life-changing decisions about your kid.
Do you know the story about the elephant?
No.
Like they always joke about the elephant in the room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So imagine you're blindfolded. Yeah, and you go up to an elephant, and you hold on to the leg, you hold on to the tail, he holds on to the old trunk, and I hold on to a tusk, and that. So what do I think? Have I got an elephant, or have I got a tree trunk, a snake, a doodah? You see what I mean?
Come on, in the doodah. Hang on,
a didgeridoo.
Yeah, he's telling me about polishing my knob.
But do you see what I'm trying to say?
John's a doodah.
Huh?
John holds penises.
We had to break the seriousness at one
Yeah,
point.
no, it's
didn't we?
hard to hold on to the whole elephant.
Yes, I know what you mean.
So, I was going to tell you that story again from my stupid life at times. When I was 17, I met Buzz Aldrin. Do you know who he is?
No idea.
Do you know who Buzz Aldrin is?
Did he land on the moon?
Yes. Do you know Buzz Aldrin?
Yes.
Walked on the moon thing, but he came back. He was an alcoholic. Why?
Because he'd already reached the moon.
Yeah. But look back on the Earth, and everyone who's been out there gets enlightened because you just
You see
can't.
how
Yes.
Yeah.
Small and beautiful and everything. There's no Torquay.
Well, it's like I said to
Devon.
my father once. I was in Gibraltar and they had this like multi-billionaire like yacht. I mean, it was absolute bloody fun. It's like a city.
I shouldn't have passed it there really.
And I said, Dad, isn't that nice? And he said, yeah, but if you have something like that, what more do you want? And I know the sense in greed and money, but again, like you can't really go much further than that, can you? How amazing is that? But then you're looking at everything from a different perspective. And actually, you see how small our planet is compared to the.
So you asked me earlier as well, how do you also
it?
change your mind? Is that we have to, whether we like it or not, learn how to meditate. And that might mean just breathe in, because in it, you start to take control of the impact
And
upon
it's
your
nervous system
emotion,
reset.
your nervous system reset. And so all of this, we're moving into the space of energetic medicine. So as I came in here, even though you were taking the piss, and said, this is nice, it feels already, it feels like a womb.
But I never did breath work until someone actually mentioned it to me last year, and it's been really helpful to
Yeah.
me, isn't it? And I keep saying to everyone, just do some breath work.
exactly.
My friend said to me the other day, I'm really anxious, oh, hey, do this
What
one.
you-
Yes,
what you say, that's what
because you need to breathe. We don't breathe properly.
Yeah.
Yeah? There's so many basic things which are so simple, but we've got in this other space.
And
of
I
life.
find even if you're busy or anxious, you're shallow breathing, it's not good
not
enough.
good.
You've got to really
You
open
can be
up
stopped
those
at
lungs.
traffic lights
Yeah.
and breathe. You know? I wasn't breathing too well when I was getting taken to all these different bloody Hopkins
Well, I don't know
Court
where
and
you
everything.
went. You were going
I
round
went
the
round,
cars
wasn't I?
on the road waiting for
Yeah.
you.
I
flagged
go
down
everywhere.
the
It's
lady.
got
I
teams.
turned up, you want it?
We're
That's
getting to
charming.
the end.
Yeah.
We've been talking over an hour already,
Yeah.
so we
Okay.
need to draw. So,
Yeah.
you've been kind enough to come here and give us all your wise words. I mean, what's the top 3 things that you want to leave us with for us to ponder on?
Kindness, friendliness, self-care.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the reason why those 3 things are so important, well, you could start with self-care first, because without it, so I do this thing called care, which is compassion, acceptance, respect, and empathy. That's how we really care. But the only way to do that form of care is self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-respect, and self-empathy. Without it, you're pissing.
Well, they do say, how can you love if you can't love yourself? So that's basically what you're saying, isn't it?
So we're on that journey, all of us together. None of us are out
And
of
do
that
you
boat.
have any links or anyone that you work with, or do you have your own website or anything like that?
I'm
that
going
you
to
can-
be putting all these links
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
website and all
It's
that
amazing.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a website called Goodwill in Action to Prevent
Lovely,
Suicide.
thank you.
So a lot of what I've talked about is on that. But I'm keen, as I say, I'm setting up this project, which is because I'm neurodiverse myself. I wasn't diagnosed till I was 43. So, but I don't want to use that as the only reason, because I have to do the same thing I said to you, my diet, my meditation. Metabolic diet is really good for your mental health.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah, what we eat.
Yeah,
makes a huge difference.
What we think is the most important thing, because like I said, there is no individual thought, because it goes into the records, and it's a psychic thing. So we're all, if you just think of us like we're all radio broadcasting antennas, even though you might not be saying anything, sometimes I hear
It's
more
energy, yeah.
when people are saying nothing.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because sometimes one of us won't be right and we will know.
Yeah.
And we'll just go, Jen, have you heard from Em? Or have you heard from Jen? And it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Because you're already a little tight
Everyone's
little family
connected,
here.
it's just whether you're
Tuned
going to
in or not.
believe that. And a lot of people are, what a load of... And
Yeah.
they're never going to tune in.
Yeah.
They're never going to get
But
to the
they're
right
still
frequency.
part of the healing, because this involves everyone. And it's a tough
But people
time.
are waking up.
They are.
And people are changing their lives
Yeah.
for the better
Yeah.
in some
Yeah.
ways,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people are fighting back and becoming a community
and to
now.
say no is the thing.
Oh, learning your no is a
Yeah.
huge
Oh,
thing.
No,
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. Don't get people.
But for the right reasons, not for
I'm,
ones.
I'm really working on that. That's definitely
Yeah.
something I need to get better at.
Do you know what? In the last year, I've done so much of that. So I've got to the stage, especially with work, where I'm saying, will they listen to me? Will they pay me? And if it's not either one of those, then I'm just not going to go. And before I'd attend meetings.
So why would you pay me then today?
Huh?
Love and kindness, babes.
Exactly.
I'll give you a cuddle with Pico.
I've got my cuddles coming in. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll give you
We love a cuddle.
Well, that's it now. No more.
Let's go and have another cuddle
Right.
then.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Let's
on
wrap
that
it up.
note, should we bring it to
Let's
Yeah,
cuddle
lovely.
it. Cuddle it.